Apple's MacBook Air has always been the go-to choice for those who want a sleek, lightweight, and powerful laptop without spending a fortune. But now, with the M4 chip officially in the MacBook Pro and iMac, the MacBook Air M4 is next in line for a serious performance upgrade. So, when is it launching? What features will it bring? And most importantly, is it worth waiting for? Let's break down everything we know about the M4 MacBook Air and see if it will be the value king in 2025. MacBook Air M4 release date. What we know so far. Apple's refresh cycle for the MacBook Air has been somewhat unpredictable. The M2 model arrived in July 2022, while the M3 version was released in March 2024. If Apple follows a similar timeline, the M4 MacBook Air could launch in early 2025, possibly in March or April. According to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, Apple has been preparing for this release, with supply chain leaks suggesting that display panel shipments for the MacBook Air M4 have already started. Based on these leaks, March 2025 seems like the most likely launch window. However, Apple has surprised us before, so an earlier release isn't out of the question. MacBook Air M4. What to expect? Apple's M4 chip is already proving to be a major performance boost in devices like the MacBook Pro 14-inch M4 and iPad Pro M4. And the MacBook Air M4 is expected to feature a similar chipset, offering White Heavy Checkmark 10-core CPU for faster processing, White Heavy Checkmark 10-core GPU for smooth graphics performance, White Heavy Checkmark Neural Engine with 38 trillion operations per second for AI-powered tasks. White Heavy Checkmark Better Power Efficiency for all-day battery life. While these specs sound impressive, there's one important thing to keep in mind. The MacBook Air is fanless. Unlike the MacBook Pro 14-inch M4, which can maintain high performance for longer periods thanks to active cooling, the MacBook Air M4 may experience thermal throttling during heavy workloads. That said, for everyday users, students, professionals, and casual creators, the M4 MacBook Air will likely be the best balance of power, portability, and price. Design. Will Apple change anything? The M3 MacBook Air introduced a new midnight color and slightly tweaked internals, but the M4 MacBook Air is expected to keep the same. White Heavy Checkmark 13-inch and 15-inch liquid retina displays. White Heavy Checkmark thin and light aluminum body. White Heavy Checkmark MagSafe charging plus 2 USB-C ports. White Heavy Checkmark improved speakers and mic array for better FaceTime calls. Rumors suggest Apple could introduce a new color option, but no major design changes are expected this time around. RAM and storage. Will Apple raise the base specs? Apple made a surprising move with the M3 MacBook Air by making 16 GB of RAM the new standard instead of 8 GB. If that trend continues, we could see White Heavy Checkmark 16 GB RAM as the base configuration, instead of 8 GB. White Heavy Checkmark up to 24 GB RAM for power users. White Heavy Checkmark storage options from 256 GB up to 2 TB SSD. However, there's also a chance that Apple might increase the base price due to this upgrade. If Apple keeps the price the same, the M4 MacBook Air will be a much better value compared to previous models. Performance. How will it compare to the M3? Benchmark leaks for the M4 chip already show major gains over the M3. In Geekbench 6.3 tests, the M4 MacBook Pro scored over 15,000 in multi-core performance, which is nearly 50% higher than the average premium laptop. But since the MacBook Air is fanless, we should expect slightly lower performance than the MacBook Pro 14-inch M4 due to thermal limitations. Still, compared to the M3 MacBook Air, the M4 version is expected to offer White Heavy Checkmark faster CPU and GPU performance. White Heavy Checkmark better AI-powered features for macOS 15. White Heavy Checkmark more efficient power management for longer battery life. Battery life. Will it last all day? Battery life is one of the biggest strengths of the MacBook Air, and the M4 chip is expected to improve efficiency even further. For reference, battery M3 MacBook Air lasted around 15 to 16 hours on a single charge. Battery M4 MacBook Pro 14 lasted over 18 hours in tests. Since the MacBook Air has a smaller battery than the Pro, expect a real-world battery life of around 16 to 17 hours, which is still one of the best in the industry. Price. Will it get more expensive? The MacBook Air M3 launched at Moneybag $1,099 for the 13-inch model. Moneybag $1,299 for the 15-inch model. If Apple keeps the same pricing for the M4 MacBook Air, it will be one of the best value laptops in 2025. However, since 16GB RAM might become standard, there's a chance Apple could raise the base price by $100 to $200. Hopefully, they keep pricing the same, but we'll have to wait and see. Should you wait for the M4 MacBook Air? So, if you're looking to buy a MacBook Air, should you wait for the M4 version, or is the M3 still a great option? Thinking face, wait for the M4 MacBook Air. If white heavy checkmark, you want the latest and most powerful MacBook Air. White heavy checkmark, you plan to keep it for 4 to 5 years and want future-proof performance. White heavy checkmark, you're okay waiting until March or April 2025. Light bulb, by the M3 MacBook Air now. If white heavy checkmark, you need a laptop immediately and can't wait. White heavy checkmark, you can find a great discount on the M3 model. White heavy checkmark, you don't need the absolute best performance. The M3 MacBook Air is already an incredible laptop, and if you find it at a big discount, it might still be the better deal. But if you can wait, the M4 MacBook Air will likely be the ultimate value pick in 2025. Final thoughts. M4 MacBook Air, the best choice for most? Apple's MacBook Air has always been a fan favorite, and the M4 version looks set to continue that trend. With a powerful new chipset, better AI features, and possibly 16GB RAM as standard, it might just be the best value laptop of 2025. But what do you think? Are you waiting for the M4 MacBook Air, or do you think the M3 model is still a great buy? Let me know in the comments.